My crush posted fake texts that made me look like a predator, and it destroyed my life. I have become a depressed, mentally abused individual who has been abandoned by all my friends and family, all due to social media. In the summer of 2017, I was a typical 15-year-old, drawn in by the allure of Instagram. Everyone at school was using it, including the girl I had a crush on. My mom, however, was old school and didn't allow me to have a phone until 2017. Even then, I got the most basic smartphone available. My dad had passed it away when I was a baby, and my mom raised me as a single mother with limited financial resources. I didn't care about that. I was just excited to finally have a phone that could install Instagram. So I found a spot in the house where my mom couldn't see what I was doing and created an account. I sent follow requests to my friends and they happily followed me back. We hung out daily at school, so they were thrilled for me and congratulated me on joining social media. I made a few posts, most of which were cringeworthy, but I felt like the happiest kid on earth. A few days later, I received a follow request from my crush. I had been desperately trying to find her account, so this felt like a blessing. I accepted her request and followed her back, but I was too scared to text her first for fear of being labeled a creep. To my surprise, she messaged me first, asking how I was doing. I enthusiastically replied and we began chatting. It turned out we had a lot in common, especially our taste in music. As the days passed, we talked for about 2 hours every day. My mom occasionally yelled at me to get off my phone, but I wish I had listened. I hid from her the fact that I was on Instagram and talking to a girl. Then, a life-altering event occurred that changed my perspective forever. As summer break approached, I realized I wouldn't see my crush at school anymore, and I contemplated confessing my feelings via text. I hesitated, but during one of our conversations, she asked if I had a crush. Instead of answering, I asked her if she did, and she said yes. I got overly excited and blurted out, "Yes, I have a crush, and that crush is you." From that moment, everything spiraled downward. She didn't reply to any of my messages after that. I thought I had messed up, but I didn't expect what was to come next. The next day, she posted fake screenshots of texts from me that I had never sent. They were vile messages threatening her in ways I couldn't even imagine. I knew I had never sent those texts and asked her why she shared a fake screenshot, but she didn't respond. Everyone who saw her story immediately believed it and turned against me as if I were a villain. I received messages from friends calling me a creep and a degenerate. I tried to deny the accusations, but it was futile. With 2 days left before summer break, those days were hell. I was avoided like the plague in class, and no one wanted to even look at me, including my ex-crush. I shouted at everyone, insisting it wasn't me. By then, any feelings I had for her were long gone. I just wanted to prove my innocence. One of her parents saw what she posted and reported me to the school for harassment. You would think the school would conduct an investigation to uncover the truth, but instead, they immediately believed her, viewing her as the victim and me as the culprit. My mom was called into the principal's office and informed that I was being suspended and would start classes a week later than everyone else after summer break. To say my mom was angry would be an understatement. Once we got home, she began yelling at me as if I had actually harmed that girl. "You are a disappointment," she shouted. "I went through so much to raise you on my own and instilled good values in you, but you've proven I'm a bad mother. Everyone will think I couldn't raise you to be a proper gentleman. I never want to talk to you again." I screamed that I hadn't sent those texts, but my pleas fell on deaf ears. True to her word, she didn't speak to me for the next month. As a 15-year-old who had lost all his friends and was ignored by his only family, I fell into a deep depression. Initially, I was like many teenagers who feigned depression for attention. I avoided eating and stayed in my room, refusing to come out. But instead of receiving attention, my mother continued to ignore me. If I didn't come down for food, she didn't care if I starved in my room. I would only emerge for meals, while the only TV in the house was in my mom's room, so I couldn't watch that. Even without her words, I could see her anger in her eyes. When she wasn't angry, I would hear her being berated by neighbors who had heard about my alleged actions. Each time she would come home and glare at me, like I was the devil, but she still wouldn't speak. I tried to find solace in social media, but Instagram was the source of my pain. I scrolled through memes until I fell asleep, receiving occasional messages from former friends who claimed to forgive me, only to post my replies with laughing emojis. I deleted the app but reinstalled it out of boredom. Many of my former friends lived nearby, so I avoided going outside out of fear. That was how my summer break passed. When I returned to school, no one had forgotten what happened. Everyone still treated me poorly, and even teachers ignored me when I tried to ask questions. I attempted to get my crush to retract her statement, but she was always surrounded by boys who would beat me up if I approached her. Eventually, I made excuses to avoid school. It was easy since my mom still wouldn't talk to me. She would iron my clothes and prepare breakfast in case I decided to go, but she wouldn't wake me or encourage me to attend. She didn't care about me anymore. Inevitably, my grades dropped. The one teacher who still cared about me recommended I see the school counselor for my mental health. What did that counselor do? She told me to sit in a corner and kept texting someone on her phone. My entire life was crumbling due to a false harassment claim. The next 3 years were more the same. Without friends, I became the weird kid at school and faced targeted bullying. Instead of insults about my appearance, everyone just called me a predator. It messed with my mind so much that during my final year of high school, I barely attended class. Somehow I didn't fail, and I managed to graduate, but I had no desire to go to college or do anything with my life. I even considered ending it all, but was too much of a coward to follow through. While my mom never spoke to me during those 3 years, she had planned my future, to kick me out as soon as I turned 18. On my birthday, I received no cake or presents. The first thing she said to me after that incident was, "Get out of my house and never come back." I regret raising a man who would treat women like that and don't want to see your face anymore. By then, 3 years had passed, and I was a deeply depressed and broken teenager. I didn't argue or try to prove my innocence. Instead, I packed what I could carry in my backpack and left. This isn't a fairy tale where a friend or relative takes me in. I was homeless, sleeping on the street with only a sheet for warmth. I quickly adapted to this new life, watching how other homeless people got food and copying them. I begged for money and searched through trash cans all over the city. I can count on one hand the number of nights I slept without going hungry. It was hell, and my depression never faded, so I never found the motivation to improve my situation. I didn't have the money to apply for or prepare for college. Sometimes, I returned to my mother's house, hoping she had changed her mind and was looking for me. I did this for 3 years and can say with certainty that she doesn't regret her actions. I'm currently living in a homeless shelter that provides shelter for those without homes or jobs. My sleeping area is filled with people who haven't bathed in months, just like me. Every day I feel my body deteriorating. My most prized possession is that one cursed smartphone. 6 years have passed since I first installed Instagram and destroyed my life simply because I couldn't keep my mouth shut. I charge that phone every day and look at my old friends' Instagram accounts. Everyone is doing well except me. I'm just a broken man who might drop dead at any moment and never wake up. And for what? All because of a few words from one girl who had no proof. My life vanished in an instant. Poof, just like that. Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed our stories and would like to hear more, please consider subscribing to our channel. Your support helps us continue bringing you captivating tales and new content every week. Don't forget to hit the notification bell so you never miss an update. We appreciate every one of you for being a part of our storytelling journey.